What's your did you know going to be about this week?
I don't know.
The amount of time change.
Very dangerous week for people.
Is it?
Yeah.
Statistically?
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome today, March 11th, 2025. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver. This is brought to you by Boss Unleaded Dove Loads.
Dove loads are coming up from Boss in the not too distant future, so get let out of the environment. Be good stuff.
So this is a dangerous week. You told me you're smartest man in the room. I'm gonna give you that. You're very educated. You read a lot. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, just did you not look at I shared it on my Instagram story yesterday. In the days after spring, this has nothing to do with today, but in the days after spring daylight savings, heart attacks rise 24%, strokes rise 8%, fatal car crashes rise 6%, medical errors rise 19%, depressive episodes rise 11%, and work injuries rise 6%.
this on this time change.
Yeah. For the next couple until
You think in our lifetime we'll see it go away again?
No,
I didn't realize in my lifetime that it wasn't here at one time.
I did not realize that either.
Come on, like in 75. But anyways, on to your today.
Okay, so today, people that are born today, Mr. Johnny Knoxville.
Good dude.
Do you know how Jackass came to be?
What's the guy's name that's a director?
Jeff Tremaine.
Probably somebody played a practical prank on him, I'm guessing.
So the roots of Jackass go back to Big Brother, wild skateboarding magazine run by Jeff Tremaine. He later became the director of Jackass. The magazine featured insane stunts, pranks, and borderline illegal behavior, often filmed for their skateboard videos. So he had something to do with Big Brother. But anyway, Johnny Knoxville was an aspiring actor, writer. He pitched an idea. So what happened is they tested out self-defense gear on Johnny Knoxville. Pepper spray, tasers, bulletproof vests. They filmed it, and it became like an underground scene on the internet. And then basically they took kind of those home videos of Johnny Knoxville getting pepper sprayed and shit. And then Bam Margera, Ryan Dunn, and a couple of his guys were making Camp Kill Yourself videos, home videos of ridiculous stunts and pranks. Tremaine saw the CKY videos and realized the chaotic energy would mix perfectly with the Big Brother thing that he was already doing. Spike Jonze, Tremaine teamed up with Spike Jonze, and then that all just kind of started coming together. So they pitched the idea of a stunt prank show starring Knoxville and Bam Margera to MTV. MTV loved it. In 2000, Jackass premiered, and it was wildly successful. The show blew up instantly. People loved the mix of dumb humor, reckless stunts, and real pain. It actually only ran for 3 seasons. I did not know that.
I didn't hear. It's fucking hilarious.
2000 to 2002 before ending, partly because of MTV censorship and the concern of dumb kids
Copying.
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
Anyway, Johnny Knoxville was born today. And now I'm going to kind of do things a little bit out of order because the main thing I'm going to talk about is somebody that had passed on today. So the historical events that happened today, COVID became a real thing.
Was this the day that the world shut down?
This was the day that Trump basically said, this is a thing. The WHO declares COVID-19 a pandemic, and this was the start of 2 years, or not really.
Do you know where I was that day?
You were in South Texas, weren't you?
No, I was in the White House.
Oh, were you?
We were in the White House the day this all happened.
Really?
We got out of the White House. They had a press conference, and we were almost to New York. We were almost to Philadelphia because we stayed at Atlantic City that night.
Really?
Yep.
Also, the first cases of the Spanish flu are reported in the United States in 1918, one of the deadliest pandemics. Its history began in Fort Riley, Kansas, eventually killing millions worldwide. So we had 2 pandemics. We can put air quotes around the second one.
Yeah, because
being what it is.
Spanish flu was real. COVID was real, but it was man-made.
Right. So we had 2 pandemics start on this day, one in 1918, one in 2020. Now, this guy he didn't die today, but they had his funeral today.
Okay.
His name is Bill the Butcher. Did you ever see Gangs of New York with Daniel Day-Lewis and Leonardo DiCaprio? Bill the Butcher was based on a real guy. Bill the Butcher died on March 8th, and they had his funeral March 11th in New York City, where he had 155 carriages and 6,000 mourners in attendance. Now, here's a little bit about Bill the Butcher. He was a big guy compared to like...
He wasn't a skinny guy like the show portrayed him as?
No. He was over 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and he was brutal. He was a bare knuckles boxer. Very, very brutal man. William Poole was his name, was born to English immigrants in New Jersey in 1821. His parents moved to New York City and opened a butcher shop, which is where he became Bill the Butcher. William took it over, and that gave his moniker Bill the Butcher. He also earned that nickname because of his bare knuckles boxing ability and his tendency to beat opponents so badly that they look like bloody cuts of meat. During this time, street gangs were more than just criminal organizations. He was also a skilled knife fighter. He quickly rose to become a leader of the Bowery Boys, a street gang in the 5 Points neighborhood of New York City.
Very famous gang.
Slums of New York. Their members came from impoverished neighborhoods, which the city neglected. In the absence of social services, street gangs often filled the voids and provided them, such as firefighting. In the 1840s, Bill joined Howard Fire Engine Company number 34. But the rival gangs, the Dead Rabbits, who were, what's the guy's name? He was in Taken. I can't think of his name right. Liam Neeson. Yep, Liam Neeson. Also controlled firefighting companies, and their rivalries extended the fighting fires. When rival firefighting companies arrived at a fire, they would often brawl in the streets while the building burned.
Yeah, because they got paid to do it.
They got paid to put out the fire. If the Bowery Boys couldn't come in time to put out the fires themselves, they made sure the rivals couldn't do it either. When a fire broke out, a Bowery Boy would rush to the area and put a barrel over the nearest fire hydrant and sit. Bill the Butcher was against immigration. In the first half of the 19th century, waves of Europeans immigrated to the United States between 1820 and 1845. Between 10,000 and 100,000 immigrants, mainly from Ireland and Germany, moved to the U.S. every year. Between 1845 and 1854, 2.9 million more immigrants came to America. In response, many Americans whose parents and grandparents had been immigrants themselves came to hate the new arrivals for economic and ethnic reasons. These nativist Americans believed that immigrants would take all available jobs and opportunities and crowd them out of the country. Many of these immigrants were Catholic. Since nativists were mostly Anglo-Saxon Protestants, religious tensions were high and easily inflamed. By mid-century, over half of New York City's population was Irish Catholic. The Tammany Hall political machine, which had allowed the Irish to be members since 1817, used the immigration explosion to dominate city politics. Many Irish Catholic street gangs, like the Bowery Boys rivals, the Dead Rabbits, were closely linked to Tammany Hall and often worked to drive out votes. So Bill the Butcher, he becomes the leader of the Know Nothing Party. It's Bowery Boys. It becomes the Know Nothing Party. His main rival was a guy named John Morrissey. John Morrissey was with Tammany Hall. He was also a brutal guy, big bare knuckles boxer. They have a fight. Morrissey says there's no way that you could beat me in a street fight. And Bill the Butcher says, well, pony up. So they organize a fight. There's speculations on what happened. Bill the Butcher wins the fight, but this is where it gets a little fugazi. They say that Bill the Butcher's guys jump Morrissey, and then Bill the Butcher gets on top of him, beats him to a pulp, I think bites his ear, and then he starts gouging his eyes out. Morrissey starts plotting revenge. So on the evening of late February, there's a barroom brawl. One of Morrissey's guys shoots Bill the Butcher in the heart. He lives for 11 more days. He dies on March the 8th. And then on March the 11th, they have his funeral processions, and the streets are filled with over 6,000 people and 155 carriages. So
very interesting.
A big send-off for Bill the Butcher, who was a ruthless man, and just kind of the time to New York City.
You know, if you watch the newest episode of 1923, great series. My great-grandmother was an immigrant and come across, and it showed the things the women had to do. And it's a TV show, but it showed. And we've been to Ellis Island. We saw how they deloused them and everything that they went through. These people are coming. That's been coming over the last 3 years. That come over here and got checks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Their immigration was a whole lot different than what my great-grandmother went through to get over here from Italy.
Right.
Whole lot different world back then. And New York was a tough place. And when you walked out of that gate at Ellis Island, you went to the people that were your kind.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to watch for all the bad people that were going to try to take advantage of you too. But that's why there's a Chinatown, a Little Italy, and there was an Irish area, and they had the street gangs and stuff.
Yeah. And
Life in America in the late 1800s and early 1900s was a very tough place to be.
Yeah. And I mean, basically, these two guys, Morrissey and Poole, they basically stacked the ballot boxes. Like, they'd pull people off the streets and make them vote. And
they're fighting over their gang territory and their land and wanted to be in power.
Yeah.
And Streets of New York's a great movie.
Gangs of New York.
Or Gangs of New York. It's a really good movie.
Yes, it is.
Very good movie.
Yeah, very good movie.
All right. Thank y'all for listening to us. Check out BossShotShells.com. God bless you and have a great day.
Bye-bye.